Quick poll. Is anybody in the mood for this? No? Whatever. Word up, people. How's it going? How are you? Good, I hope. I'm good. I only recently got in a bad mood. Like in the last 10, 15 minutes. And it's because literally everything I've touched has like fallen through my fingers as if I've been hexed. Like there's a spell that prevents me from like actually being able to hold on to things like this. Also, this is the This is the fourth sweater I put on. Like, when did I start having issues dressing myself? But everything else, first of all, I have a sweater. I love it. I love it. Listen, if you're not interested, skip ahead. I have a sweater I love. Love this sweater. I put it on today, and it was like one of those Snuggies. Or wait, what are those things called where it's like a robe, but it's like... It's like a blanket, but it's got sleeves and pockets and that. It was enormous. Like, I know I wasn't 2 feet taller last year when I wore it last. Word up, people. How you doing? Yeah, so it is December the 15th. Nope, not the 15th. It is December the 13th. It is the Tuesday. December the 13th, 2022. And the reason why I'm taking time out of my very busy schedule right now is to let you know that because nothing has gone according to plan, I have said, screw it all, and I started working on book 4 today. This is what I mean by nothing has gone to plan and screw it all. So number one, I was supposed to get both the manuscript for the anthology and book 3 back at the end of, or in September. Let's just say September. It is now December 13th. We're almost halfway through December. And the latest projection of getting the manuscript for book 3 back from my editor is the 19th of this month. Hold on. Sorry, I had to get rid of my phone. I have arranged with my boss, my friend La Jefa, to have some writing days this month. And the whole point was to get to a place where I could begin writing book 4 and have like consecutive days to work on it. And I wanted those days in the new year, but that's not going to happen. It can't happen given my workload and things that are happening with work, with that day job, starting in January. So it had to be in December. And I was like, cool. Because when I first established those as being my off days, my vacation time for writing, I anticipated having had both manuscripts for the anthology and book 3 back for probably a couple months and have, had the opportunity to work through them and have passed them off to either get them proofed or even perhaps formatted by now. It's hilarious. That clearly is not happening. Obviously that's not happening, and that did not happen as planned. Well, now the reality is I have days next week and the week following next week and basically the week before and after Christmas. The Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before and after Christmas, I have set aside time to write book 4, to work on book 4, and I can't wait. I'm not going to wait. Can I? Can is a question of capability. Am I capable of waiting? Yes. Will I wait? No. No, I'm not going to wait. So my plan is now to just start writing book 4. I was going to start next week, but my boss, La Jefa, is sick this week, and so she's told me to stay home for a couple days, and today I have a sore throat. I tested negative for COVID twice. So, she's like, maybe you just need to stay home until Friday. And I'm like, okay. Well, in that case, that's probably going to ruin my off days for next week and the week after. And I know you're like, well, if you put off for time off, well, it's not that simple because this isn't a normal job. I'm not getting into that. That's not the point. If you're interested, just put in the comments that I'll never read, that you want to know more about that, okay? And I'll explain what I do for my day job now. I won't. I probably won't. I probably have before. Who knows? Because I ramble a lot. Anyway, so I started working on book 4 today. That's the long story short. I started working on book 4 today. Now, to be clear, I had the first 41 pages written. I wrote those back in 2019. So I was curious what it was going to be like going back into those 40 pages that I wrote in 2019, because I have come a long way as a writer since then. Turns out it's not bad. I'm pretty happy. I have not made a ton of, I haven't overhauled it. I have tweaked it here or there. I've brought it up to speed since I have rewritten the 3rd book since then, or did a deep edit. I didn't rewrite the 3rd book, although I did do some structural work on it. So yeah, mostly it's those kind of details and making sure that it lines up in the timeline and things like that. And yeah. But the point here is it's great. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's a bit daunting, honestly. It's daunting for a few reasons, and these are not going to surprise you. Number one is I am staring at this 17-page outline. I believe it's a 17-page outline that I have. And I'm excited to write it all. And so that obviously takes time, right? I can't write all of that in a single afternoon. So that's going to be probably, to write the complete first full draft will be, I'm guessing, 6 months. That's my target, is 6 months, give or take. I can't remember. I've written all this stuff down, but my timeline is so off at this point because of delays with my publisher, my editor. I don't have a publisher. I am my publisher. What are you talking about? That I don't even remember precisely, but my plan was to have the first full draft written within 6 months, already sending it to my beta reader and my illustrator at that point. In theory, I could get it written much quicker, but I only have 3 days per week to work on it, and those days are constantly being pulled in 100 different directions between photo shoots with my friend and muse, Cameron, or hanging out with my family and my friends, or playing in a band to make money to pay for editing and marketing and all of that stuff that goes along with self-publishing. Or like this week, this Thursday, Thursday is one of my writing days. I have a video shoot Thursday afternoon, which means I might get half a day to write. And it's great. It's a great project. It will pay for something. It could pay a big chunk of the marketing for next year, or it could pay for like proofing the anthology in book 3. But it takes time. It takes time for me. I have to be there at 3, which means I'm going to have to leave my house around 2-ish, 2:30, somewhere around there. And I will be there for the rest of the night, basically. 4 hours, but I'm not going to write when I get home. I'm not going to work or do anything when I get home. And then at some point I'm going to have to edit it. So that's a few days worth of work. So I'm balancing all of these things. I'm balancing the writing with the editing, with the marketing, with the video work to pay for the book publishing, while also doing a full-time job, 4 days a week, 4 10-hour shifts per week on my day job. And, you know, life is good. But I'm feeling a deficit. I'm feeling a severe deficit in my spirit from not creating something new, like totally new. Like even these scenes in the anthology, they've been good. They've been great. But they're not enough. Like I need to lose myself in a new story. Even if it's a continuation of the story that already exists, I need to do that. For the sake of my creative self and my sanity, I need to do that. And so that's why I'm doing this. And yeah, I'm excited about that. Here's the thing. I had reached out to my marketing guy. I've done consultations with him a couple times. He gave me a launch plan for the first 2 books, a couple other things. His name is Mike. I've probably mentioned him before. Mike is the one who first suggested doing an anthology now to promote the 3rd book, the launch of the 3rd book. So that's kind of, I mean, it was something that I wanted to do eventually anyway, but it hadn't occurred to me to do it now. So thanks, Mike, for that. And I'd reached out to Mike because I enjoyed working with him when we worked together before, and I hadn't heard from him for like 3 months about the possibility of running some marketing and setting up ads and doing all of that back end stuff that requires a bit of technical savvy in the field, specifically with marketing books. I don't have that skill. My brother, who I'm going to pay to do some marketing stuff for me, he doesn't have that skill, and he's willing to learn. But I really wanted to hire an expert so that I could at least hope for more bang for my buck, and I could count on a higher probability of getting more, because if I do it and my brother does it, we're shooting in the dark. We're like just trying to figure this out on our own. So someone who's been doing this professionally for a while, you would think they would have some insight that would increase our chances of having success. I now have 19 reviews for book 1. It's like a average 4-star review, so that's pretty good. Book 2 has, I still think we're hovering around 13 reviews, and it's got like 4.5-star average review, so slightly higher than Scarecrow. But that's one of the things that I plan on doing going into January is sashaying into January is to really try some of these review sites like Pubby. There's a couple, and I can't remember, the only one I can remember right now is Pubby. But basically what Pubby is you pay to, you read a book, and when you read a book and review it, you get a credit, which allows someone else to select your book and read it and review it. That definitely seems like a valid option. I've used Hidden Gems and a couple others, which I've mentioned before. But honestly, those sites where you pay them to send your books to reviewers in exchange for receiving the book for free, and they promise to leave a review, which you can't make them do. And you know, I paid for 100, I got 10 for the first 2 books. And I did get like 10 reviews, 10 or so reviews out of those readers, but most of the people who sign up for that kind of stuff, I think, are looking for romance novels, not dark fantasy. I mean, the guy who owns Hidden Gems told me, Craig, we're going to say Craig because Craig sounds ridiculous. I'm sorry if your name is Craig, but it sounds ridiculous. Sorry. And if you feel like that's mean of me, Eric is the weirdest name in the world to say out loud, in my opinion. Eric. Eric, 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 Eric. The more you say it, the weirder it sounds, or is that just me? Eric. Anyway, Mike reached out. He gave me, he just missed my message, hadn't seen it, apologized profusely, and gave me some things to think about and some budget points. And so I'm hopefully going to contract with him going into January to do some marketing and set up ads, and pay him to do the front end work, and my brother to do the back end work, and to actually manage the ads themselves in real time, and just use Mike as a consultant as needed, and work on getting reviews, and just really try to start marketing for the first time ever, because I haven't been marketing apart from BookFunnel. And I am, as an update there, I've got, like, the last time I logged into my MailChimp account, I had like 960 email addresses, like active subscriptions, not total emails who have subscribed and then unsubscribed, but 960 something, like 963 active subscriptions. I started that in February. My goal that Mike gave me was to get my email list up to 1,000 in the first year. So I am right on target to do that, and maybe exceed that by a little bit. So BookFunnel is great for building your email list. Doing sales promos where you're trying to actually sell books, perhaps that's why I made $11 last month. But that was the first month that I saw a difference. So I think maybe the book sales promos in BookFunnel require a bit more strategy than just picking the ones like building your email list. Anyway, that's it. I'm rambling now. I have to go. I've got a Christmas party to go to, and yes. So here's the thing. I would encourage you to remember that even doing something that you love requires doing things you don't love as much, at least, and maybe downright don't enjoy at all or hate. Like for me, I love writing, and I even enjoy editing to a certain extent. But this unending editing and the marketing and the all of that technical stuff that is required to actually succeed as an author is tedious, and I don't enjoy it. But writing is fun and liberating. And part of the reason why things are so frustrating now is because I condensed a ton into the last 2 years. I rewrote 2 manuscripts from scratch. I did a deep edit of a 3rd manuscript, and I wrote an anthology, half of which was written from scratch. And all of those were supposed to be done by the end of this year. So I was publishing 4 books in 2022 alone. Writing the first 2 in 2021, writing the second 2 in 2022, with editing throughout all. I mean, that's a lot. So a lot of my frustration now stems from the fact that I was in a position that I had all of this ready to go, or right here, like, we just had to get it across this little bridge and it would be ready to go. So hopefully once I get into 2023, things are spread out more. I will be launching an anthology next summer, and then book 3 in October of 2023. And I'm not planning to launch book 4 until like a year later in 2024. So yeah, hopefully things will not be as tedious and stressful for me, and I can actually enjoy the process and not feel bulldozed over by it. But here's my encouragement to you. Yes, sometimes things are required that are not fun in order to do the things that make you happy, things that you're passionate about. Always remember that if this is your passion, the things that are not quite as fun, they're not quite as important either. And I get it, that if I don't do all this marketing stuff and all of this editing stuff and all of that stuff, then what I love, the end product, is not going to be as good, or it's not going to sell as much or be as successful. People aren't going to find it as easily. Readers aren't going to find it as easily. It'll never be made into that Netflix or HBO series. You know what? But that's okay. I don't write to be published. I write to write. And it's hard sometimes for me to remember that. But my number one priority is writing. Because even if I never make a single cent, I'm still going to write. Because it gives me life. So remember, find what gives you life. Find what makes you happy. Find what gives you passion, what makes you passionate. And do that. And yes, discipline yourself to do the parts that go along with it that are less fun. But always remember, the priority is what gives you life. You may not ever make any money off of it, which is why you have to do that other stuff. And it may not be that you're trying to make money. Who knows? I don't know what your passion is. Keep at it though. But just remember to keep everything in balance. You're smart. I'm not going to explain that anymore. Peace out, home skillet. Take care of yourself and all the people that you love as best you can. That's all the news that is news from across the nation. Now I'm going to go. I am trying out a new hair product, and I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get it to be consistently good. Like, I can't tell right now because I'm too far away from the screen. It looks like it might be good, but then in an hour, it's going to look like, I don't know, a little Richard Simmons-y, honestly. Except on the sides where it's too short. Aiming to publish both books this year. Laugh, chuckle, chuckle. Chuck chuckles. Chuck is chuckling right now. Chuck, chuckle over there.